I'll declare that the meeting is open. Welcome to the June 9th, 2026 meeting of the Conservation Commission of Town of Manchester by the Sea. We operate under the auspices of the State Wetlands Protection Act and our local wetlands bylaw. And we're here with two missions. First is to protect the wetland resources, and second is to serve our neighbors. So let me get some of the necessary verbiage out of the way. This meeting is being conducted entirely on Zoom in accordance with ongoing regulations from the state. It is being recorded, and if any participant doesn't wish to be recorded on video,
Steve, you're breaking up again.
Darn.
I know.
Hmm.
And we have these two new witnesses.
I know, and technology is letting me down. Let me see what I can do about this. I can improve the microphone, but I have a feeling it's Comcast doing its best to undermine my public service.
Wait, you're good now?
You sound much
Yeah,
better
you're
than
good
you
now. Whatever you just
Really?
did, Steve.
I called them out on it and they improved the connection. All right, so be it. Anyway, the meeting's conducted on Zoom. The votes will be by roll call. And there will be times when public comment is appropriate. I will let you know when that is. And if you have a comment or a question, please indicate by raising your hand physically or virtually in Zoom. And try to keep your comments to 2 minutes or less and addressed to me. Let's see, what else? We have a chat function, but please don't use that for anything other than a technical question because it does not become part of the permanent record. With that, I will call the roll of commissioners and staff. Dr. Olga Hayes.
Here.
Dr. Henry Ottinger.
Here.
Dr. Gordon Turner.
Here.
Mr. Jim Hammond.
Jim Hoffman's here.
Hoffman's
We don't know about Jim Hammond.
altered state here. And I'm Steve Gang, and I am here mostly. We have two special guests tonight, Marty Farmer and Arnold Oyola, who are both volunteering to join us. And when the select board gets around to sanctifying those applications, I hope they will. Looking forward to it. Thank you both very much. On the staff side, we have our highly effective conservation administrator, Bethany Barstow, and our director of land management for the town, Mark Resnick. So, as they say, without further ado, unless there are other announcements, let's open the public hearing and begin with a continued matter, 18 Boardman Avenue, Manchester, DEP number 39-8947. In this case, the applicant has requested a continuance to our next meeting, June 30th. And I will hear a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All those in favor of continuing? Olga?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Henry?
Aye.
Thank you. And I am. It's unanimous. I am also an aye. Which brings us to a request for an RDA for 15 Eagle Head Road, Manchester. Has a local number somewhere. The applicant is Marianne Mukel, and the project is construction of a covered porch within the 100-foot buffer zone to vegetated wetland. I believe Marianne is here tonight. Yes.
I am.
Would you like to summarize this project for us?
Yes, so I wanted to replace a front entry porch with a porch that would span the front of the house. It is within at different points within 93 and 95 feet of the wetlands. And it currently in that location are gardens.
Should we do a screen share?
Yes, I'm just having a little bit of technical difficulties. Just a moment.
Oh, okay.
I might be able to screen share if you continue to have them and have it up.
Yeah,
If
that
you
would be great.
can, that'd be great. Yeah.
Have a little difficult plans in terms of this new application.
You should have permission to share. Thank you.
So the current, do you guys see it?
Mhm.
So this is the current entry, and what prompted is that the front steps deteriorated over the winter. And I asked AI to give me a design for a new front porch, and it put one across the front of the house, which seems like it would be nice to have. So here is this is outside. This portion is outside of the 100-foot area. This is, I think this is the 50-foot. Right here. And this is so this is the existing, and this would be it would be covered, and there would be decking. Mm,
So that's that kind of inverted V-shaped line is the 100-foot buffer resulting from two different wetlands on opposite sides of the property,
yes,
right? And the implication of that is that everything to the right of that V is within the 100-foot buffer to one or the other,
Mhm.
I think. Which means that 90% of the project is in the 100-foot buffer, correct?
right, it will be, it would expand. The expanded porch would add 170 square feet of impervious square feet within the dimensions of 93 to 95 feet from the wetlands.
Is
Yeah,
this
but
just,
it's,
Because this portion is actually already covered.
yeah. Can you blow up that little bit there where the front door currently is? There we go. Thank you.
Is that good?
Yes. So what I was saying to you is that the space that includes the house between the 50-foot buffer on the right and the 100-foot buffer that currently cuts through the front entrance, that space is buffer zone.
Right, this portion right here,
Yes.
this is out, this
Because
portion.
generally what we do is look at the not the absolute distance of any of the points, but how much of the project is within our jurisdiction. And it looks like most of it is. And specifically what you're going to do is extend the roof line.
Yes, this from here to here,
Mhm.
and from here to here.
is this supported by columns and decking that water can fall through?
It is supported by a roof. So it will have columns. There's a picture of it. See, I can share that as well.
Yeah. So it actually is impervious because it's going to be covered by new roof. The
Yeah,
roof
it's
line will be
impervious.
extended over this space. Right now, there's just a little roof covering the entranceway.
Do you see the new screen share?
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So this is the current one. This picture is not coming in very well. There would be columns, a roof, and decking.
And how will the runoff be handled?
With gutters? There currently is a gutter here. What you recommend?
I don't think that
Mm.
we're typically
Yes.
are not going to make a recommendation, but we're asking whether that was considered in the plan, really. So maybe it just runs off into a gravel French drain type of situation, or maybe it's collected by gutters to a downspout. Do you know offhand, Marianne?
I
Well,
haven't,
if there's gutters off the main roof, you're really just speaking about water on the extra 3 feet of roof or 4 feet you're creating. It's not an entire expanse of water.
True. Yeah, it's not likely to be a great deal of water. And is the driveway paved or is it gravel?
gravel.
Okay, so most of the surfaces this water is going to fall on are pervious flow too.
Right.
Doesn't concern me. Any other questions or
Doesn't
comments
concern me.
from the commission?
I'm good with it.
Anybody else?
Nope.
Anybody in the public, which I think means Marty and Arnold. Any questions about this one?
No, I guess there's the roof and there's the decking as well. So, and I can't quite tell how wide it would be. Did you say it's only like 4 feet, Maureen? I'm sorry, Marianne?
The floor of the porch would be 6 feet wide.
6 feet wide. Okay. And so the roof will be a little bit wider than that, probably. And most likely you'll end up with gutters at the end of that as well. So certainly have to say it's an attractive addition to the house.
Agreed.
I guess
Not that
be- being fairly new to this, right? Just what my question would be about the considerations in these plans for materials that are utilized, like the footings or decking or paints or so on. What are the typical considerations that are taken in cases like this?
Well, we typically find out, what's going to hold it up, and it sounds like it'll be poured footings.
Yes, there will be, the 6 footings, 10 inches in diameter and 48 inches deep.
Mhm. So that's the actual disturbance in the buffer zone of the excavation to put in those footings and where they remain. And then the other issue is the increase in impervious surface.
But since
But-
it's draining into an open deck and a gravel driveway,
The sum total of the whole thing sounds fine to me. I agree with Olga.
yeah,
If there are no other comments or questions from the public, is the commission ready to vote?
Sure.
Okay, let's hear a motion for a -3, I think, determination.
And 6, I think.
6 is to include the bylaw that covers.
Oh, good catch. Yes, exactly. 3 and 6.
Second, I'll move the motion.
Thank you. A second?
Seconded.
All right. How do you vote? Gordon?
Aye.
Henry?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Olga?
Aye.
And I am an aye as well. It's unanimous. A negative in this case is good news, Marianne. It says that we don't think there's a risk of significant impact to the resources. And you should go ahead.
Thank you very much.
I'll send the
welcome.
determination over to you probably next week.
Okay. All right, I guess. Okay, bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And that finishes our applications for permit.
You can stop screen sharing, Marianne. Yeah.
There we go.
So Arnold and Marty, don't get used to this. It's never this short.
Yeah, this is ridiculously easy.
It's a good
And-
intro.
Right.
Wow.
And as
Okay.
Bethany will tell you, it's likely that the next meeting, the June 30th meeting, is going to be considerably longer. Because
Yes.
we have received a application from SLV, a venture that's trying to build the 40B project on Shingle.
Yes.
Oh goodness, I'm going out with that one. Oh,
And there's like 5 other applications as well, like at different projects. It's going to be a long meeting. I am warning you all.
all
I
right,
think,
good.
Olga,
I'm
they
going
were
out with a
waiting
bang.
for you to leave.
2
They were
meetings
waiting
in
for
1
news
month.
that-
It's once in a
waiting
blue
for-
moon.
Right, waiting for news that Olga had left the building.
So looking at the notes, towards the end, there's the scoreboard installation. Is that underneath the minutes
Yes,
from the
let
last
me-
meeting?
Let me
It's
effectively
a
close the public.
discussion, new and other business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me close the public hearing,
Understood.
and we'll move to other new and old business.
Mhm.
The first is the scoreboard installation. Bethany, you want to give us a briefing on that?
Yeah. They said they asked to like continue it the next meeting, but I don't think it's necessary. They want to do a scoreboard installation at Coach Ed Field Park. They want to put it at the 50-yard field line, but apparently it's under conservation jurisdiction, so they just need to ask permission.
Do you know which side of the field it's going to be, the stream side or the uphill?
Mm-mm. That's why I do not know.
I
So
think
they-
at a
so they
minimum,
might-
Steve, we need to know just
Yeah.
where it is. We're not looking for a wetlands delineation or anything.
No.
Just see where it
Yeah.
is with
Well,
respect
see
to
if
the
see if
resource.
they've got a trench for electrical or anything like that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was thinking.
I will message them and ask them. So
Great.
expect that also on the June 30th meeting. Yes, I'll email them.
Okay. Arnold and Marty, you know the field we're talking about?
Yes, behind the primary school, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The elementary school. And it is actually Coach Field.
Yes.
Seriously. And there is a scoreboard there, down at the corner closest to the high school, I believe. So I'm wondering what the second scoreboard will do. But I suppose we will find out on June 30th, or maybe sooner.
Perhaps it's electrical instead of manual.
And the other one I think is electrical.
Okay. It was a long time ago.
Perhaps
My
it's-
son was there.
Yeah, it may be designed to accommodate more sports. My memory is that the field was lined initially only for football, and the scoreboard was set up to report football downs and quarters and score. Okay. I hate to put you guys on the spot, but Marty and Arnold, would you mind giving us just a thumbnail of your background and why in the world you would want to join the Conservation Commissions? Arnold?
Marty, go ahead.
Okay, Marty, should I go first? I'll go first. All right. All right. My background as engineering, more on the biomedical side, starting in mechanical engineering and shifting towards systems. But in that journey of working with medical devices, inevitably you get involved with regulation, compliance, standards, and working with entities that have to evaluate your worthiness or your ability to get into a commercial place, right? Get medical devices out of the field. It's very vague analogy, but there's a due process and a lot of considerations. I've always been on the development side, meaning that I've had to do work to ensure that the products are good enough to get out there. And you start becoming accustomed to the rhythms of the process and regulations and interpretation and what people and groups are willing to do to try to get those products out there. Now, at the same time, for the last 15 years or so, I was very involved with scouting in the town that I lived at, which is in Central Mass, Northborough. I stepped down as scoutmaster after 3 years, but I was assistant scoutmaster for many years. And there's a strong affinity. I have a strong affinity towards the environment per se. Did a lot of outings and so on, and inherently do care about the environment and leave no trace, and basically enjoy and find myself really learning the most about myself when I allow myself to be out there in the environment. So in the winter, may find myself putting a hammock outside and sleeping one night outside just to kind of get a sense of the cold winters and so on, or in the summer too, because that's typically when the AC is not good enough. You have to be out there. But this is somewhat of a combination. I've come to Manchester fairly recently, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly and seeing the seasons. I started in February 9th, and right in the middle of that winter storm, and I'm enjoying every day. And I can see the beauty of the place and feel a strong urging to ensure that that's protected, not just for ourselves, but for people coming down the line. I get very upset when I go to one of the trails and I see trash, etc. So these are all superficial things, but I felt that with this committee, where the rubber, I think, meets the road, and there's actual regulation and there's actual due process, and people that are going to have needs or entities that have needs, plus the environment, it's a good way, I feel, of contributing to what we have as this town as Manchester. So that's where my intent comes from as well. It's a great way of getting to know people and the flavor of the town as well, from how it protects its natural resources as well.
Wow, thank you. Makes me want to join.
Makes me not want to leave.
Olga, do you have the option of staying?
No. It has been over 30 years. It's time. The commission needs new people. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'll give a little background. I did my undergraduate at Duke in majoring in zoology and minoring in botany, and then went on to get a PhD in physiology and pharmacology, also at Duke. So I had expected to be in marine biology. That was the plan. That's why I went to Duke, and I got pulled into the biomedical space, where I have been since I did a postdoc. 1980. So I have been more in the biomedical space, but I started. Well, I'll go back to my sense of Manchester. We moved here in 1996, And we moved into the house that we're in now. We're at 12 Bridge Street, and it's right on the water. And when we moved here, the inner harbor, we're right on the inner harbor, there was a large mud flat behind our house. And it was could get a little smelly at low tide. It had been, I had photographs, it had been a salt marsh. And the salt marsh had been totally wiped out. We didn't know what had caused it to deteriorate, but we did an experimental planting with salt marsh grass with the help of Great Meadows Farms, and we fenced off several 6 by 6 foot spaces and planted another three more 6 by 6 foot places that we didn't fence off. And day one, the geese that used to live in the harbor, the white geese, the domestic geese that lived here, came in and pulled every shoot that they could get at. And the ones that were not protected by fencing were wiped out literally in 24 hours. The ones that were protected by fencing did fine. They went for a season, they went for 2 seasons, and we realized that it wasn't like oil from boats in the harbor. It was the geese that had wiped out the salt marsh. The Canada geese come and go. They don't eat everything in sight. But the domestic geese did. They were essentially feral. And so we had a wild goose chase for domestic geese, but they were pretty wild. And we got rid of all 12 of them, sent off to a farm in western Massachusetts, never to be heard from again. But the marsh has done really well. It took time. We put 5,000 plants in and planted the whole marsh after the geese were gone, and it thrived. So that's my major conservation project. But I've been interested in conservation for years. My father was a subscriber to Organic Gardening and Farming when the magazine started. So I kind of grew up with that concept, and I've certainly done major organic gardens, not now, but I did. Don't have a garden these days. So I have that sense of background. And then the other side of it is I started at the incubator in Beverly, known now as Innoventures, used to be North Shore Innoventures. And it was a biotech incubator and clean tech incubator. And we have about, I'd say, a third of the companies that have come through that incubator, early stage companies. We provided lab space and equipment for them. And they were involved in various kinds of technology that were intended to reduce emissions, better batteries, anything related to what is generally now called green tech or clean tech. And so I supported that process. I was the CEO, founding CEO for that for 10 years. And Olga, there's a time and place, and after so long, and I, quote, retired from the incubator, but I'm still quite active there as a mentor, and I pull people in like Arnie to come with, and he's mentoring one of the companies there now. But it's so I've had an interest in the area for a really long time, but the precipitating event, the reason I volunteered for this, is Jeff Bodmer Turner, who was a dear friend, whom I miss a lot. And I thought the best way I could honor him would be to fill out his term. And so I volunteered to do that, knowing that I didn't know what I was getting into. And hoping I wasn't going to end up in over my head. But I've certainly been I understand operating in a regulatory environment, health and safety, running a business in the biotech space, having all of that, not to mention the FDA. So I understand operating within a regulatory environment where the consequences of not abiding by the regulations can be really serious. So I understand that. And I hope I can contribute thoughtfully to this organization. I love this town. And I don't want to run for one of the public offices. This is sufficient, but I'm happy to participate.
And I'm sure that Bethany has told you that the Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissioners, they offer workshop probably on Zoom to bring you guys up to snuff as to the basic rules and regs that apply.
I actually haven't sat down with Bethany yet. So, sorry, you're about to say something, Bethany? Can't hear you.
You might
Well,
be muted.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Comcast for me as well. I did send you guys the link, but I'm like, if you email me, I'm happy to help guide you through this too.
Although I gave a stack of books to poor Marty.
Yeah, I began having misgivings right then. Bethany, I didn't get anything from you. I think maybe it's possible you have the wrong email for me because I ended up having to go to Steve to get the link for this.
Oh, maybe. I thought I added you. Maybe Steve can forward me your email again.
You can just send it to barstowb@manchester.ma.us and you'll be connected. Well, we're delighted to have both of you. It sounds like a distinct, don't mean this in anything but a respectful term, an upgrade in our capabilities, particularly as goes toward biomedical issues. Dr. Turner, I believe, is that your bailiwick as well, Gordon?
Yeah, I work for Novartis, so we could start a biotech later if we need to after.
That's three of you.
Right.
Boy,
Exactly.
I better get my doctorate degree quickly.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. There's
I got a
those
master's
online things, Jim.
Environmental studies, Tim. So that's what helped me.
All right. Next item on our list here is election of officers. And I have not prepared anything for this, but I was going to suggest, if he's willing, that Henry and I serve as co-chairs, unless there's someone else who has a burning desire to do that. I'm not
Good
hearing
idea.
any. Henry, does that sit all right
Henry
with you?
willing?
Sure. Sounds fine.
All right. Somebody should move that.
I'll move it before
Thank you.
anyone changes their mind.
I'll second it.
Second? Great. All those in favor, Gordon,
Aye.
Olga,
Hi.
Jim.
I
think we can vote on this, Henry.
Might as well. I'll vote aye.
I'll say yes. Good. It's unanimous. Thank you and congratulations all.
Congratulations.
A couple of other items that are on the existing business front. One is the trail work in Powder House. You may remember Bethany and Mark and some others from Open Space went and GPS marked and photographed how many trees?
68?
63.
Oh, sorry, I'm
63
adding.
trees that are leaning or broken or dead or otherwise. And some of them went back in with a tree guy, Mark Chicoria, last week to identify, and also
Tom Henderson.
Tom Henderson, our tree warden, exactly. And what came back was a proposal to do 3 days of work to handle all 63 and a cost of about $7,200, which is a little rich for us. So
Right.
Mark made the intelligent suggestion that we organize a capable brigade of volunteers who actually know how to handle chainsaws and can probably handle the majority of these trees. safely. There will be some that are too high, too big, too dangerously leaning, and we'll leave those for maybe a day of Mark Chicoria and his team.
So, Steve, so I've since talked to Tony. Yeah, I've since talked to Tony several times about this, and he feels that he does not want volunteers in the woods with chainsaws cutting down trees. He feels that there's a huge town liability, unless they're certified arborists and have whatever training is they're supposed to have. He doesn't want volunteers in. He feels that the liability is much greater doing that than leaving the trees, because the trees themselves, generally, the town doesn't have any liability if they fall, because it is a wooded area and there is a kind of recognized hazard to people in that area. So then I called Cape Ann,
Oh, cats.
yeah, I called Cats and I talked to Amy because she had mentioned something about training some of their people and to use power tools and stuff. So she gave me a long history, but basically they have insurance that allows people to use tools. However, chainsaws, they feel that they have to get them certified, go through some sort of training. They haven't worked out what. Generally, though, they feel that they're only going to get them training and to deal with trees that are already fallen, and that they're not going to, under cats, let them fell trees because there's a higher risk of injury or problems when you're felling trees, even if they're dead or not so big or whatever. So, and that's kind of, and I told, Tony that I'd done it elsewhere, but he doesn't feel from a liability perspective here in Manchester that we should do that. He felt that if there are some very hazardous trees that we ought to pay for it, and if we have more need, that he would try and find some additional funding, or we pay for it over several years and we go back to finance for some additional funding. And that, just like the beavers, we need an annual maintenance for the beaver, to Beaver Solutions. Do we need to have annual maintenance for tree cutting? I don't know. But it seems like Powder House is the one area of town that's really heavily used and heavily promoted. So it's a little different than Manchester Woods or somewhere else. So that's kind of what I know right now. So
Okay, I can't say I'm surprised, but past experience has always proven successful in this.
May I ask a
However-
question?
Yes, go ahead.
So if I'm reading, is there a difference between falling or felling a tree versus addressing the tree once it's in the ground? Is there a middle ground in here?
Yeah.
yes, so for trees that have fallen, Cats is hoping that they'll be able to have a team that can come in and take care of that for the community because they have insurance. I don't know what we've done in the past here in Manchester when the trees have fallen. I know there was a little volunteer group that went down to Dexter Pond last year, but I wasn't there, so I think that was, yeah. So
So cats, when we did the new trail, like Newport Park,
Mhm,
we had Mike McDonough, and I think he worked for Cats. He was
That's
with
correct.
Cats, and he had a chainsaw and he took some down. Most of these 63, even though some are small, are still standing. They're not on the ground.
I guess what I
But
was
to
saying.
clarify, the $7,800, that wasn't the plan to leave the trees there and not
Yes.
remove them. And what about the slash? Because that's a fire risk. And
No, they cut it into sections and just let it lie there.
so
Yeah, but
even all the branches and the twigs and
Yes.
everything just
they're just
Yeah.
counting on it becoming habitat,
Yeah.
slow release of the carbon, etc.
Yep.
Yeah, Olga, I have the same recollection. Mike McDonough on 2 occasions went in and with a bunch of us kind of assisting him, took down smaller trees and deadfalls that were already blocking trails. So obviously CATS has tightened its policy a little bit since then.
Yeah, well, there is one across the trail now. One of our 63, Bethany, has
Yeah.
come down.
We're no tree experts, but we were pretty good at identifying hazardous trees though. We were pretty good. Because we were like, Tom, is this correct? And Mark, Sequoia, and they're like, yeah. So
Okay, excellent. Well, I guess then it's having told us how to do this, it'll be incumbent on Tony to tell us how to pay for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Marty's got her hand up.
Yeah, is the wood valuable as firewood? Is there somebody who would want it? Who would be willing to cut it up and take it away? I mean, if the trees are dead, they may be aged enough to be reasonably useful firewood.
Yeah, standing deadwood is usually great firewood until
Yeah,
it gets
so
soft. Hadn't thought about that, but that would just compound the difficulty of volunteers running through the woods with chainsaws.
well, unless it's a company that does that and deals in firewood, in which case they would probably have insurance, and they might they probably have to pay for wood in some places. In this case, perhaps they could have it if they take it away.
Well,
Hmm.
it's not really, a lot of the trails, it's not accessible to any motor vehicles. So
Okay.
just the main trail is, so most of it is not, so I don't
Okay.
know. if
Yeah,
they-
my limited experience is that people will go into the woods to get, specimen trees that they can use for furniture making, but they won't go in to get an individual tree for firewood.
And that would be
If
a
we were
whole,
willing, if we were willing to clear an acre, we could probably get somebody to come and bid on the firewood, but we're not doing that. Gordon, you had a question?
Yeah, Bethany, I didn't get a chance to go through the woods and look at all of these with you guys, but the scale of this is much larger than anything we've seen before for the powder house. Like in the past, we've had a tree or two, I think, that were problematic, and I think we paid for them a couple of years ago, Olga. I think you had
yeah, Jack
identified.
Montgomery, those really big trees.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
Is there any gradation you could do to subset, like a set of them that are near the main trails or that are highly hazardous that we could sort of tackle in the first year for maybe a
I
lower
think
price and kind of,
yeah, I think that's was like once we got like that big quote number,
yeah.
I think that was like the next phase.
Mhm.
We just kind of did like a general look around of all the trees. That's why there's such a big number. But actually, in the grand scheme of the trails, it's not that much. Like Mark and I were looking around and we're like, oh, in the grand scheme of things, it's not like a lot of trees because there's just so many in there. But
Yes, as a percentage, sure. But I guess, are there 20 that are higher risk
yeah,
or
I think
I don't
we
know.
might. Yeah, I think that's would be the next phase is like,
Yeah.
what is the greatest risk trees? Because, yeah, I think it was just like all about like the first thing was like about the safety for like the people walking around. Not so much liability just because the town promotes these trails and we want to make it safe for people to like
Right.
walk around and stuff. Yeah.
Another option might be to, I don't know if we have the flexibility to ask another tree company or not.
I think they have a contract with the town.
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
right, Chicoria
So
has the
that's
town
why
account.
I see. I see.
So
Okay.
we may, Mark, maybe at our open space meeting, we can ask Amy if Katz can do some of the smaller ones with just a handsaw. He doesn't even want handsaws or not?
No, I don't think they don't want to be felling trees. There's a difference between felling trees and just cutting trees up that have fallen already. And
Mhm.
so, from a safety perspective, whether
Yeah.
you're using a handsaw or an axe or something else, generally you kind of need to know what you're doing. And so they don't really they're not training their people to do that.
Right.
So there are people, like me and some of your other volunteers who have a lot of experience cutting trees and would feel comfortable cutting them down, but from a town liability perspective, because
Mhm.
we're not trained and officially, that they would not want that to happen unless we hire somebody.
Yeah.
Be a
So
PR
maybe,
nightmare if we
yeah.
drop the
Maybe
tree on a
like,
volunteer or something.
right. Maybe we just have to, like what Gordon was saying, like some priority trees that are like deemed as like the most hazardous would be
Yeah, I
like
mean,
the
we
next.
we could rewalk the
Yeah.
site and then put together a list of, like, there are some where there are like literally dead branches hanging right out off of
Mhm.
the tree right over the trail, or there's leaners, or there's a couple trees that are hung up.
Mhm.
Those are the ones that are hung up are also dangerous to take down unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, we could put together a list of those. And it'd be about $2,500 roughly for 1 day's worth of work. So,
Okay.
so maybe we do this in phases. We do a day's worth of work this year.
Mhm.
We do a day's worth of work, next year. Maybe there's other trails we want a day's worth of work on, so.
Mhm.
Yeah. Have to be phases. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, well, Mark, are you equipped to pursue this? Do you need any more
Yeah.
advice or help from us?
Yeah, we'll do another kind of walkthrough, and try and, make as good a estimate as we can on trees that, I mean, the ones that are most hazardous, a lot of them aren't really huge trees and they're just dead on the side of the trail. That's why I thought we could do it with volunteers.
Mhm.
They're 8 or 12 inches, caliber. They're not particularly difficult to take down, but so those would be the ones we would leave, and we'd try and put together a short list of the hazardous ones.
I'll make a new map.
Or
Yeah.
the
Did
things that
Mark,
you could do in a day, if there's a bunch of easy ones to add in or something.
Hmm.
Yeah.
did Mark say, is this a winter project or could he start tomorrow on, if we funded the first 2,500, could he get going now and
He didn't say what his schedule is,
yeah.
so
And if a professional company comes and fells the trees for 1 day's worth, um, could it be optimized so that they lean towards taking as many down as possible that could possibly then be followed up by the Cats group, as within reason, right? Because sounds like a big scale project for a group of volunteers to clean up after. So, or is that
well,
something that could be done?
um, well, I don't think the tree company would want volunteers hanging out and working like with them, right?
It would be a different day. They
Yeah,
just
yeah,
leave it behind, and volunteers would come and do the cleanup.
yeah. I
Wait,
mean,
Arnold, there's no cleanup.
Yeah, we're not,
the only cleanup is just
Meaning,
to move stuff off the trail once it's
sure,
cut. But I mean, that's the easy part.
just
That'll take,
perfectioning. Yeah.
yeah, that'll take like 10 minutes once it's cut up. They still would have to cut it up into movable pieces.
All
Like
right.
they fell something across, and on either side, they might leave it on either side, so they don't.
Mhm.
It's very limited.
Okay, fair enough.
Mark,
Yep.
do you need a vote to authorize some expenditure at this point?
Yeah, you could do that. That way we could move forward based on their schedule and we don't have to go through this, have this on another meeting. So once Bethany and I, maybe we go through there one more time
Right.
and put together a short list of what we
Yeah.
feel are
make it-
the most hazardous ones.
I'll make a new map for us.
Oh, I want to go again.
Okay.
You want to come?
Yeah,
Okay.
well,
Do
we
you-
want you because we'd probably miss a trail or two,
Yeah, she's our guide through the trails.
Well,
Then
it's useful to do the ribbon thing as opposed to the computer mapping, because then if we did that, we know the trees that are going, but
Yeah.
also if people, are concerned about how many trees we're cutting, they can go in and we can say, you can go and look at what we're cutting ahead of time.
They're marked with with fluorescent.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. You said that the last meeting.
Yeah.
Right. That's clear. Yeah.
And maybe
So let me-
like I have blue ribbon I can tie around the
Yeah.
trees that are most hazardous
No.
or something.
I'm
Wait a minute.
happy to
Got it.
come along if it helps. I would love to. I would love to come along.
Sure.
Only because
We'll
I-
show you
Yeah.
Powell's Hill. Yes.
Yeah, why don't you just let the commission know when you're heading
Yeah,
out
I'll
and
send it
some
to
of us will come.
everybody. I'll send everybody like, by the way, we're going this day, whoever wants to join.
Excellent. So let me move that we allocate $2,500 from the appropriate fund for the initial round of tree removal or tree dropping for the trails in Powder House. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Henry?
Aye.
Gordon?
Hi.
Olga?
Aye.
Jim?
I
And I'm an aye as well. Thank you. Thank you, Mark and Olga and Bethany, for pursuing this.
Did anybody
Um,
else have a power surge? I had lost you guys and had to log back on.
No,
Is that interesting? I wonder
we've
what
had
happened.
outages in the past 48 hours, but no surges here.
Well, something, I just blanked, you all blanked out
Hmm.
and I had to leave and then come back in.
Another item on our schedule is beavers. Arnold and Marty, you'll learn that beavers often appear on our other new and old business. We've tried to get them to attend the meetings, but that so far hasn't worked. But
My
we do
husband is
have
from MIT and they refer to each other as beavers. So,
there you go. We do have a retired gentleman who lives on Preston Place in Beverly, who is very close to the Manchester border and has been battling beavers for decades. And he has now enlisted us, or more specifically, Bethany and, bless his heart, Jeff Bodmer Turner, in helping him keep his backyard from flooding as the beavers construct things downstream from him. Anyway, there was a major piece of work done on a little pond that is on the Beverly Manchester border at the western end of the Western Woods, which we paid for to make sure that the pond wouldn't rise above a certain level. And that so-called deceiver has been cleaned out. It's a pipe that lowers the water level, but doesn't create a lot of noise. So the beavers don't know that the water level is being low because they are attentive to the sound of the running water, and they will go block it up if they hear. Anyway, some problem persists, and I think we're going to see a proposal from Beaver Solutions to add another pipe at a higher level to deal with the surge water that comes with heavy rain. And if you're all very good, we can take you out to this remote site on the Onion River. You probably didn't know there was an Onion River in Manchester, but there is. Something to do with wild ramps growing there at some point, hundreds of years ago.
Yeah, that
Anyway,
might be a good thing to do, is to do a field trip out there.
Yeah.
The Beaver Solutions was out there a week ago.
We could go, yeah.
And did the maintenance. They were going to send a proposal, I haven't received it yet, to add a second pipe to deal with the surges for when we get a lot of rain. I think that's what part of the problem is. The beavers have built up the dam, and so the surges back the pond up into Beverly more than it used to. It may also be that there's another dam on the uphill gradient side of the pond somewhere that keeps water up there as well. Yeah. I mean, and maybe someday there's a stone dam that created that pond. Maybe someday we discuss whether we should remove the stone dam and just let the beavers dam up the stream as it is downstream from the dam. So, and maybe it'll become less of a problem and it'll be more of a natural, because I don't know whether that pond serves any other purpose. It was probably created for some industry or some farm at one time, but like
That could
most
be
dams in
important.
Massachusetts, they no longer have a function.
Something I have learned from, there's a company that I've worked with at the incubator that works on low head hydropressure, and there are dams that can be to produce hydropower, rather not hydropressure, hydropower. But one of the things that became apparent as they looked at that, there are a lot of dams across New England that, if you were to take them down, actually cause more environmental damage, because the stuff that is embedded in the sediment when those things were built for some industry purpose can be, once disturbed, can be somewhat toxic. And so it'd be important to know what was used, what was done at that dam before you think about taking it down.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, there's a
Thank you.
whole process you would have to go through permitting wise with the state in order
Right.
to take it
I'm sure.
down. And
There
I'm
is.
sure that it requires, sediment testing uphill,
Yeah.
upstream. So,
For those who want to see where this is,
We lost you there, Steve. But don't exclude us from the Beaver tour. I want to march a couple up onto Powder House Hill and see if they'll cut for us.
That's right.
Get a recording of a stream up there for Steve.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me, but directly after you pass something, you will see on your mark.
I can barely hear you, Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking.
Oh, now it works.
Now it works.
I think it's
Right
the
after you
distance from
pass
the mic,
this-
maybe part of it. How far
Right
you are
after
from
you
the mic.
pass the sign that says entering Manchester, you'll see the Onion River Marsh on your right,
Off of the highway there. Yeah.
off the highway. Yeah. The last item on my list here is to bring you up to date on a project that is underway to examine future remedies for the flooding and the marsh conditions at White and Black Beach.
Oh, yeah.
And we have the town has engaged a consultant, engineers and environmentalists, who conducted a walk shop, they called, last week for the public, and got about 40 or 50 people, would you say?
Yeah.
So two different groups walked around and looked at the current conditions of the road, the seawalls, the culvert over on Black Beach, and the shore itself. And then the next day, the consultants quickly had produced two conceptual sketches of what might be done to improve health and welfare and utilization, actually, of the beaches. There's a long way to go on this, and I won't try to give you all the details now, but sooner or later it's going to come to Concom because, not surprisingly, all of White Beach is wetland resource. It's a coastal dune structure, I believe, technically, although not sure where the coastal bank would be delineated. And Black Beach is certainly buffer zone, if not resource as well. So suggestions like adding lots of additional parking would need to come to us. And not surprisingly, that was the most popular suggestion of the group that gathered for the tour, which seemed to be mainly people who are neighbors and or regular heavy users of the beach. Gordon.
Sorry, unrelated, just when you're done with this topic, I just wanted to
Okay.
ask a question. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done. I don't know what the time to what their job is to produce some set of alternatives and to quantify the costs and benefits, immediate and ongoing, and also the consequence for resilience, which is the heading under which all of this is happening.
So which is the entity behind driving this exploration?
It's the town.
The town itself.
The town has engaged them.
Mhm.
And there's a backstory as well of 7 years ago, we obtained a grant to do a study of how to make this particular area more resilient. Winter storms annually pile up sand and other material on the road and sometimes damage the road and sometimes the utilities underneath the road. So we've been looking for a solution for that. Unfortunately, the title of the grant was had something to do with abandonment of the street, and that brought out an outcry from neighbors saying, you should not study something when your conclusion is foregone, as the title suggested. So we declined to accept the grant, and now we're coming back, 7 years later to look at the same problem, a little bit more exacerbated because, as they pointed out, we are getting measurable sea level rise on that coast at a pretty alarming rate.
I just staying with the topic, I think the big discussion too, in addition to parking, was hardening the coastline there. So it goes into every conversation we have, I think. So that the issue of precedence on these decisions is pretty big.
Yeah. A good number of people had these extended seawall that goes along the shore at Crow Island, that down raise the level of the road. And the engineers were saying that's really not going to work. I mean, you can't raise it enough. You did.
We're really losing you again, Steve.
Gordon, go ahead.
I think this is more a question for you, Steve, but so I hope we can hear your response. But I think it was in the Cricket a few weeks ago, the talk of the Gordon Woods and the potential for a 40B there with the housing development and things like that. And it mentioned that I think you had talked to them about like a land swap idea or something like that. And I guess I was just curious, or maybe Mark even can answer, like, is there a sequencing to that? Is there actually land that's going to be put into conservation, or are we just going to get a request now for development with no protection of the land happening first?
So Yeah, I'll answer that, Steve, because can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so so the developer, the apartment group developer made a presentation to the select board. The next step is they're going to bring it around their presentation to some of the other boards to try and gain community support for their project. What they presented to the select board is on the land use department page, just kind of right under the links to the other boards. So if you want to look at that,
Yeah.
that is there. They did want to come into your next meeting in June to kind of give an overview of what they want to do to the commission, but because you have SLV has filed and 4 or 5 other applications, Bethany spoke to Steve, so we put them off until July to come to the Conservation Commission. They have yet to request to go to the planning board at this point, or historic, or anybody else yet. So although Steve can speak whether they represented in some other meetings about putting the rest of the land in conservation. At this point, they're saying they are not doing that because they are only purchasing the land in which they're going to develop. Gordon College was specifically asked that at the select board meeting, and I've asked them at that about it, and they said they are not planning on preserving the remainder of the land, that they're going to keep it. And there are some other, reasonable development sites on the remainder of the land. So, so clearly they feel that there's some additional value there and they're not going to give it away.
Okay, so there is no benefit to the environment in this deal. There's no swap, there's no nothing. The way it was pitched in the cricket, it's just a 40B.
Yes, at this point, that's what it appears to be, just a straight 40B.
Yes. They're
and-
offering to fund an additional playing field, I think, and to offer something on how we could build more affordable housing. But I think
Yeah,
that's it. They're also
yeah,
asking for sewer extension under 128.
their offers, let's say, I would say fairly limited for a project of this scope. And it is if you look on the selectmen's, what they presented to the selectmen on the slide deck, there's a slide showing what they want the town to do for them and what they're willing to do for the town. So
Okay,
Mhm.
I'll check it out.
so
Thank
you
you.
can look at it, make your own judgment. And if you want to discuss the details, you can call me and I can.
Thanks.
My sense is, I agree with Mark. I think Gordon wants to get some additional money for the possibility of, or the reality of building on some of the other property that they have there.
Steve, real quick. Just please make sure you email them soon that we need to have them in the July meeting and not the June meeting.
I will do that. I wonder whether in the meantime, it would make sense to ask them if they could conduct a site visit for informational purposes only, so that we could get a sense of where on the ground these things are likely, these properties are going to be.
If I recall correctly, this was going to add, was it close to 300, 270 something units?
285, yes.
285, and which amounts to more than 500 more people being added to our sewer system, which
Mhm.
is
And our schools and our police and fire protection and our parking and our beaches and our harbor, yes. The developer acknowledged that they've never worked on a project that has this potential for incremental impact in terms of people and activity in a town.
Mhm.
And I did a quick AI search of Massachusetts development projects for the past 50 years, and I found only one other that has more than 10% increment to the population potentially of a town, and it has not been built. It's called the Weston Whopper, and it's in Weston, Massachusetts. So we're kind of in a class by ourselves in that respect. And that was part of the reaction at the select board as well, particularly from the planning board head, who said, my goodness, these are big buildings. And it'll be a lot of people and automobiles.
So this is,
So,
so one of the point to make is this is what's considered a large project because there's a cap based on the number of housing units you have in town. And there's like different levels. So it's something like, what is it, 6% of our total housing units, which our cap is something like 135, 36 units, which is what the size of the SLV project is. So this needs the zoning board to approve the review of a large project. So, so the zoning board can basically say, we're not going to review this. It's a large project. It's too impactful. Scale it back to some other number or to the what you can do by right, which is the 135 or 36 units.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's why they're shopping it around to try and gain community support so that the zoning board will review the project and not kick it back. Because the zoning board has like 15 days to make that decision once the application is filed.
Hmm.
So it's yeah.
Have you
thank you,
seen
Mark.
you have the plans for what they think they're going to put up? You've seen plans?
So it's on that slide deck that's on the land use page. So it says the title says potential 40B development, and then just click on below that. So
If I recall, it was at least part of it's right across from the Black Earth.
Mhm.
Uh,
yes, it
Okay.
is.
Mhm.
well, maybe you should have your site review on some really hot day. Dear thing.
They did propose to set it back from the road a ways and also to maybe shift the alignment of Pine Street a little bit away from the compost site at that point, and then they would pay to vegetate the other side of the road to limit the visual impact of the compost, but I have no idea what they're going to do about the aroma.
You can maximize the aroma with a really hot day. So it's just maybe they aren't aware of just what they're asking for.
Is there anything else that I'll say this so that we can do in anticipation to get ready, research, break this into areas, and investigate what the potential, at least have the right questions for because it's a huge scale project and can hit conservation in multiple fronts. So is there anything else that we can do, divide and conquer?
I think the first one, sorry if I'm jumping ahead, is the one that was actually filed.
Hmm.
The one
The
on
SLV
School
that's
Street. I think that should be,
our focus. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to do a site walk, I would do it without them, and I would do it in anticipation of them making a presentation in July. So do a group
Smart.
site walk. I mean, I know where they're generally going to build, where the roads are going to be. I mean, I've been through that site a few times. Bethany came with me once. I know Steve's been in and out of there a lot. So we should be able to have a general sense of the development areas and be able to walk through there. So that way, when they come to the board to kind of give you their dog and pony show, you'll be able to, talk about some of the conservation related issues that you see when you're out there.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Let's see if we can get something scheduled after the 4th of July.
Okay.
And do you know, Mark, have they flagged any of the property areas they are talking about acquiring?
The only thing that we saw flagged was some of the wetland areas
Okay.
in some areas. I don't recall if they flagged everything all the way around.
We
Yep.
saw some flagging, I remember.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
toward the back of one
Yeah.
of the sites, yeah. So
Cool.
the main area across from the compost site is kind of a upper plateau area. So the wetlands are kind of down behind where they are or across the that existing road that goes in. So the other one's a little more complex because there is a stream on one side of the as you go in their proposed access road, and then there's wetlands in the back.
And it, of course, as you know, just a reminder, this is all primary wetland for our primary source of drinking water, Gravelly Pond.
Yes.
Okay, Jim, your hand is up.
Yeah, there was also a town gathering to discuss, evaluate, take public opinion on Singing Beach facility. Did anyone go to that? Is that something we need to have on the radar?
Was that the bathhouse?
The bathhouse, I was there.
Oh.
There's another meeting this Thursday.
Okay.
How extensive is the possible work, Olga?
They haven't, this time, I can't go this Thursday, but, they're gonna come back. They took all of our opinions and thoughts. They're gonna come back with preliminary things this Thursday. So we would know more this Thursday. It can be pretty big.
Is this
I-
coming from DPW or
It
third
is
party?
coming through Parks and Rec.
Okay, is there somebody who can make time? What time on Thursday is it?
I believe, you'll see it in the cricket, I believe it's either 5:30 or 6 at Singing Beach.
Okay,
But this is just preliminary at this point. They took all our opinions and thoughts. They'll come with a preliminary, then they're gonna have yet another meeting after this one, I believe. They want to come up with a plan by the end of the summer. Mark, do you know more?
No, I think what the way you described it is the way it was described to me. I did not know about the first meeting, so I didn't attend that. I'm going to try and squeeze in at least a little bit of Thursday's meeting.
Yeah, good, because I have to go
Because
to
it's
an art
between-
gallery.
Yeah, because it's between historic and something else earlier. So
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got.
Steve, is
I've
that
got two
absolutely
things.
within our jurisdiction?
oh, yes.
yeah,
If it ever comes up for planning, yes.
Yeah.
yeah, I think the coastal bank is probably at the top of the riprap.
Right.
Okay. Yep.
Yes.
May I simply ask, is the July meeting the 21st of July? Is that correct?
Yes.
Is it every 3 weeks? Okay. Okay.
oh,
But the next meeting is June 30th.
Yeah,
And-
I just want to be sure I
yeah.
had the July one on too. Okay.
Email me because I might have your wrong email because I've been sending some Martha
Yeah, I haven't ever
Farmer
had
something.
anything from you. I haven't
To
gotten
someone
anything.
else, maybe.
So I
but-
suspect you're probably using Martha Farmer at Gmail. Is that what you're using?
Maybe.
Because
So just
I
email
don't
me so I have the correct one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think I didn't quite get it, Bethany. It's Bethany, it's BARSTOWB
Mm-hmm.
at
Manchester.ma.us.
Okay.
It's on the town website too. I keep forgetting it's like I work in Hamilton as well, so it's like, wait, what email is it? But it's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So I have a question, which Mark, you may, or Steve may be able to answer. Since my last meeting is June 30th,
Mhm.
and SLV is coming before us, can we have an extra member? Or if they just sit in to the meeting for SLV, or should I step off?
Well, so that's kind of the problem with that is that your term doesn't end until the end of the month is my
Yeah.
understanding, right? So anyone filling your seat won't be able to attend that first meeting. And because they weren't on the board at the time, I don't know if they even review the video, it would
Recording.
count. So I'd have to find out. If they were already sitting on the board, yes, it would definitely count. They could sign a Mullins rule form and it'd be okay.
So let me
the-
know what the right thing to do
yeah,
would be.
yeah. The other thing is, Martha, you said you're filling Jeff's term.
Well, I don't even know what the term is on this committee. I think I probably should ask that or when
So,
his ends.
so whoever is filling Jeff's term can be appointed before unless Jeff's term well, even if it's expired, as long as you're appointed before the hearing begins, and or whoever, which one of you fills that term and you get sworn in before that meeting begins, then you can continue on, even if you get reappointed, like if his term was going to expire, you get reappointed, that's you would, but if so it would be just one member that wouldn't be able or may not be able to.
Well,
uh,
I need to raise an issue that I may be another member who will need to recuse on this one. I'm not positive, but I may be in a butter to that SLV due to being a part owner of a property over on Hidden Ledge Road. So I think
Right.
we've contacted state ethics before about this, and there's a way to get an exception to that
Yeah,
by
Henry and I
select
have
board.
been through
Yeah.
this, so talk to
Okay.
us offline.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're not caught flat-footed and don't have enough members or something to vote. So I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah,
Right.
we
Looked
can
on the
double check about like if if someone that newly joined can do like the Mullen rule when they're first starting out. We can, like what Mark was saying, we can double check that because there's some weird. Can they? But maybe, I don't know when the select board's meeting next, but maybe if one of them can get appointed before June 30th, that what Mark was saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can definitely probably get one of whoever to fill Jeff's term.
Yeah.
And then that person would be able to continue on. It's just whoever fills the
Olga's, yeah.
Olga's term, because we have to check to see whether you can kind of, because you are now on the board, you can review, and it's only one meeting, you can review the record from prior to.
Right. So
We will check and find out.
You're, could you just clarify the rule? You're not allowed to vote on something if you're in a butter?
Yeah.
No, there's
No,
a
that's not
presumption.
Not
Sorry,
exactly.
there's a presumption
Yeah.
of a conflict of interest which you can rebut by filing an appropriate statement.
Yeah.
Can I modify can I hereby reverse the meeting 30 minutes and say I'm in a butter to Mary Anthony Mukill, and so her porch
Oh,
Not controversial.
Uh-oh. Big pause. Steve, let's
Maybe we
wrap
should
this
just-
up.
Yeah, we should just circulate the document that Henry and I used respectively for our abutter issues. I
There-
just checked the website to see when Jeff Bodmer-Turner's term officially ends, and it's listed as 2025, which is not helpful.
That means he was appointed last year to fill whatever
Reappointed
the
for
term
4 years.
is. So his term probably doesn't expire, but the seat is vacant, so we can
Right.
probably tomorrow
Can
we'll
be
try
filled.
and get it on the select board's agenda to appoint.
Well, I would like to know how long the terms are.
3
years.
3
3
years.
years.
Okay,
In Olga's
So-
case, 30 years.
In my case, 30 years, yes.
Okay. well, if,
All right, I think the only thing remaining for us, unless I'm misinformed, is to review the minutes of May 12th. Has
the
anybody
only
done that?
Found was our new Tim Hammond. So it's not there, Jim? On the May meeting? You're muted. Jim, you're muted.
Jim, you're muted. Jim Hoffman, or whatever your name is, you're muted.
You're muted. Unmute.
I don't think he can. Something's going on.
We can't
Stuck.
hear you.
Yeah.
We
Stuck in
can't
silence.
hear you, Jim.
Steve, do you have the ability to unmute people?
There we go.
All right.
No,
are there
I can
now?
ask him, but I can't
he's
force
on.
him.
Now we
Okay.
can.
That's correct. I was not there.
So that's the only correction I found.
I looked also, and I have nothing.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I'll move that we accept the minutes of was it May 9?
May
May
12th.
May 12, 2026.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Jim,
Yes,
you can't vote.
right.
Henry,
Aye.
Gordon,
Hi.
Olga,
Aye.
and I am an aye. So it is approved.
So can I
Okay,
exercise my function now that somebody
Wait,
else will have to?
I have
take-
one more
Up,
thing.
up.
one more thing. Mark has another
Yes.
thing.
Because I knew when you were going through the town projects, there's one other town project that may or may not, depending on your feeling, fall under your jurisdiction, and they're doing a public forum for the senior center. And so, whereas it's directly behind town hall.
That's Tuesday, next Tuesday. meeting.
Yeah, and supposedly a lot of that land was filled land, so I don't know whether, how you, but that's next week, so.
I'm going to that, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Good.
the flood zone, so
So I'll exercise my thing by saying.
think it's time.
There you go.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Henry seconds. Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you again, Arnold
Great
and
to
Marty.
meet our new members. Yeah.
Yeah, good to meet
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
See you all soon.
Bye.
Yeah,
Aye.
All right.
aye.